You have exactly 3 seconds to like and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, I'll appear in your dreams tonight. To ask for a donation for that cup of coffee, link below.
These utensils appear at first glance nothing special. But when you know, everyone will know their origin. Be start. Attention fellow citizens. Planes. The enemy is 70 meters from Hanoi. Attention fellow citizens. Because of what animals are made of, that daily use is a fortress. The machine still steadfastly serves United States Air Force for more than 70 years. Contemplation of time has always been rare for one. Military act. So what helped it have such a long lifespan? Rewind to the next time period, when the second market ends. No, the United States Army USAF recognizes that context. Global warfare has changed to deal with possible dangers. They need a new type of bomber. Ability to operate at long range and carry large amount of weapons, especially mass weapons. Core, which is becoming the center of wartime art, cold paint. Specifically, the USAF has made requests about the means of fighting that I need or like. After that combat radius reaches 8,000 km and a stable flight speed of 480 km/degrees. Higher than 10,000 might. In addition, it must have a motor, propeller and cockpit 5. People. To meet these requirements, enter in the United States Air Force invited. Potential manufacturers submit applications. Contractor for processing. TOW. Consolidated Aircraft. Glen. Company and Boeing are companies that have feedback accompanied by design suggestions by surname. After a rigorous evaluation round, Boeing, along with the Model 462 design aside, is selected. However, at that time, Model 462 still cannot meet the requirements. Demand for scope when it only has flight radius is 5 km. That forced Boeing to design it. A new aircraft model called Model. All USA accepted this design but still requires Boeing to make a lot of corrections. Multiple times to meet the criteria. Its strict standards. Finally, after more than 5 years and dozens revision of essential technical specifications, 46467 has officially met the standard and is approved. The US Air Force ordered 13 aircraft with name B-52A. But at that time Boeing can only deliver 3 planes and them was returned to the company for testing. Added combat capability. The test flight that followed went smoothly. When B-52 can easily overcome every lesson. Check out the specs and get it. USAF ordered up to 282 air to be able on time to deliver these aircraft. Boeing uses 2 production facilities. 1 residential, Seattle equals Washington, and 1 in Wichita. Not only that, more than 5,000 subcontract. Others are also involved in the manufacturing process. And up to 40% of the airframe is created by companies other than me. None. Production ended the year 1962, and at that time there were 744. The B-52 Stratofortress ships with 8 other variations. Each other. In 1955, the Ontor was delivered. The name of the Flying Fortress officially entered work. In its early years, the aircraft species. This often encounters problems. Serious. The reason is because of the presence defining system. Logistics cannot keep up, leading to work shortage of spare parts. Flat, neither at air bases. Designed to withstand weight. Giant of, leading to cracking. Broken or damaged. Interrupting storage operations. Landing. But the technical problem in the design is also quickly revealed. The fuel system is often encountered. Leakage or freezing in the air conditioner. Severe weather events. Computer. Control the bomb-throwing system to the weapon, which is one of the public highlights. B-52's technology proved to be less reliable. Affects accuracy and efficiency. Results in the task. 2-story cockpit. The aircraft's uniqueness also creates these difficult problem to handle. While the upper deck pilot suffered high temperature caused by sunlight directly through the windshield, aircraft members sit on the lower deck, have to work in cold space, and lack of light, therefore. Adjust. If the temperature is just right, Someone will become human. It's too hot or freezing. Outside. Ow. The J-57 turbofan engine is open. It was not possible to equip the B-52 at that time. Complete. With many disadvantages such as, so, sooner or later, there will be an accident. Happen. That's true. In February, a serious incident occurred. The seriousness caused by the throat generator has resulted. First fatal crash, forcing the entire squadron to temporarily stop flying for technical control. Before the situation, there, the U.S. Air Force offered the prize. Drastic measures to ensure readiness. Combat of this type of aircraft. Teams. Sky speed maintenance is immediate. Established and deployed to each base. Has B-52. Thanks to that, the air situation completely reduced and destroyed. The flying station is always in a state. Thailand can take off at any time. At its PT, there were 650 B-52s in operation and 4 squadrons of 30 U.S. bases across. Position. Gender. After the weaknesses of the B-52 are over, they are immediately put to use in wars of invasion. Viet Nam strike. This is also the first time. Destroy combat aircraft stations in the field. Month. Main offline campaign. Consciousness arises. Dynamic. The B-52s were dispatched from the base Anderson in Wem or Utapo in Thailand. Land flew thousands of kilometers to do it. Airstrikes target positions. Military logistics of the region's Liberation Army, South Vietnam. Although originally designed to deploy nuclear weapons and machines, this flight was quickly adjusted to switch to carrying conventional bombs. Each can carry more than 30 tons. Bomb. Take it down to a large area, causing major damage to infrastructure, opponent's floor and vitality. Events. Bombing with B-52 is expected by the U.S., causing the Liberation Army to weaken quickly. However, fighting in Vietnam, far different from total war. The second type of position in which the B-52 is designed to you, dispersion, spirituality, activities of the Liberation Army and the system. The tunnels are filled with hidden spells that harmonize the forces. Destruction of the flying fortress is not achieved. Effective as expected. Want. However, in terms of combat, bomb-in attacks still cause damage. Large into many major military campaigns of the Liberation Army was interrupted by intense bombardments from B-52, creating convenient for American troops and allies to control several areas for a while. Short. The most prominent point in animation history. B-52's actions in Vietnam are campaign. Al-Biker 2 lasts from the 18th to the 30th December year 19. During 12 days and nights, the Air Force. The United States has mobilized nearly 200 fortresses, flying with hundreds of tactical aircraft. Another throws carpet bombs at the target. Important in Hanoi, Haiphong and other areas. Vicinity. This is the most intense air campaign in the world. Modern Air Force history. Tons of bombs were dropped just in less than 2 weeks. However, this campaign ultimately failed. Was a catastrophic failure for the Americans, when their proud machines suffered unprecedented and heavy losses. The fact that up to 34 units were sold. Of those, 16 crashed on the 18 were damaged and falling outside the territory of Vietnam. Conclude. This result brings great humiliation to United States Air Force and forced America must return to the Paris negotiating table, end the war in Vietnam. As for, although it suffered losses, heavy here, it still plays a dark role. Important in battlefields where America participate later. The most prominent being combat. Gulf, they are forces. Core force in the Storm campaign. Desert and engage in battle right from the waves. Attacks. Heavy bombardments. The B-52's resounding boosted soldiers' morale. Iraq collapsed seriously, leading to many in case of surrender on the battlefield. School. In total, more than 1,000 aircraft were destroyed. 600 sorties throughout the war. Worth. Note, 40% of all bombs were by coalition forces. Troops dropped during the campaign. Made by. This is irrefutable proof. Argue for the overwhelming and destructive power of line of aircraft and strategic bombs. This, entering the 21st century. Customers respect, they play a role. Important in the war in Afghanistan. In 2001 in Iraq, it doesn't stop there on November 12. In 2015 B-2 also made a mission. Freedom of navigation in the East Sea. This is America's move to react first. China's blatant construction and illegal militarization of artificial islands in the area. Not long. On the 10th of the month. In 2016, a flying fortress appeared, present in Korean airspace and escorted by Korean F-5K fighters and 16 of the U.S. Air Force in response. North Korea announced a successful test balloon attack next on May 2018. According to statements from several U.S. military, B-52 bombers participated in the raids, airstrikes targeting main body forces. Syrian government in the east of the country. 2021 they directly participate in the campaign. Counterattack of Taliban. The next year, the United States Air Force used this plane as a platform, launched to successfully test the missile. In October of the same year, ABC News reported on it is expected to dispatch 6 B-52s to the base, Australia's military air base in the near future, while building infrastructure, floors to serve your activities. Even the U.S. Air Force. There are still plans to maintain operations until 2020. This means flying fortresses will be available. Operating time up to 95 years. 1. Unprecedented record in history. Aviation. Both military and civilian. So what made the Chinese Air Force trust this machine so much? One of the most outstanding advantages, made a name for B-52 Stratofortress, is the ability to carry weapon loads. Extremely large. Something very few bombers do in the world can compare with talent. Maximum weight up to more than 30 tons. Viet Nam, not just a war machine, common but also a symbol of destructive power and the ability to threaten. Strategy of the Chinese Air Force. Long body frame and wings design. Characteristic dynamics give it a large weapon compartment. Along with that is external weapon discharge points help the machine. The plane can carry many types. Different firepower from falling bombs, driven by traditional, route by GPS or laser until the long-range cruise missiles like the AGM-6, even strategic nuclear weapons. All can be present at the same time. Flying, it can carry out the Bureau's key attributes. Large, destroying the entire defense system. Defense, command base or infrastructure. The opponent's vitality in just one single sword. Besides, Viet Nam Stratofortress also has overflying range. Dominant, which turns it into mystery. Voice in the sky, with distance. Maximum operation up to 14,000 km. Is that it can easily make the trip via the longest direct flight in the world, from Dallas in the US to Sydney, with a distance of 13,800 km. This makes it possible for B-52 to perform these tasks. Transcontinental mission without departure, originating from the base near the war chief. However, what actually causes the tower to fly? Become a war machine? No. The main limitation is refueling capacity. Whether above, thanks to that, the range is active. B-52's movements are almost endless, allowing it remains active for many hours, even days if necessary. The plane may depart from a base. America carries out air strikes in the Middle East, then turn around and return without landing. Refuel at any time. This helps increase mobility and reduce risk losses when landing at forward bases. Method. While allowing the United States to do so, deploy its air power without being limited by geographical location. Reason. In addition, the B-52 also has a reputation, responsible for its simple design. While many lines of bombers, modern today like B-2 Spirit, Rider uses advanced stealth technology. Advanced. Synthetic materials are difficult to manufacture and sophisticated electronic systems are artillery. The flying platform is designed with a frame. Certain mechanical systems are less complex, much more complicated, helping with maintenance and repair. Treatment becomes easy, thanks to this. Even when operating in the environment is as harsh as the central desert. In the east or cold climates, B-52 still can maintain a state of combat readiness. Fight without encountering too many problems. Besides, design philosophy of the B-52 also makes it adaptable, flexible with many upgrades over time. Older, faulty sensitive. Time and traditional navigation systems has been replaced by technology, the darker. Plus there's the matter of being lifted. Upgraded to a modern GPS navigation system. Also allows the B-52 to carry out attack. Long-range attack with near precision. Absolute. Even in cooperative conditions. Complex electronic warfare. Equipped with electronic countervailing system. New generation ECM makes it possible to detect and disable the room radar system. Enhances ability to survive in campaigns. Dangerous bombardment. And yet, the B-52 was originally designed to carry nuclear bombs. Strategy. It has become today a deployable multitasking platform. Many different types of attack weapons. One of the most notable upgrades is the ability to launch all types of operational missiles. Long-range programs like the AGM-6 LSM make it possible. Can attack targets from a distance. thousands of kilometers without entering. Frame the opponent's part. Also, being tested for portability. Superweb. If destroying the flying tower will continue to hold important role in war. Modern. Not just like a dodge plane. Traditional bombs, but also as a platform. Launch ferry weapons. Advance. Along with that, B-52 is also to be compatible with the digital battlefield. The C3 system helps aircraft connect with air combat units forming a network. Unified combat. Thanks to that, instead of operating like a machine bomber alone, it can coordinate with surveillance aircraft in terms of calculation, reconnaissance and ground radar systems to determine, set goals and adjust tactic in real time and optimize TAC ability. In addition, the US Air Force is still active. Develop an upgrade program, engine to help the plane fly. This dialogue continues to add rows. 10 years from now, since its birth in 1950, the B-52 used jet engines, Brad and AJ-57s, a flawed compared to today's standards. Keeping this old engine running, it costs a lot of money. When the ability to operate is no longer dark. Pros. That's why the US Air Force has start the engine replacement program. CRP trade with an integrated goal. New, more modern, detailed engine, more fuel efficient and more durable. This not only helps to significantly reduce maintenance costs, but also increases flight performance. Extend range of motion and especially pulling. Extend the lifespan of flying towers to at least 2050. In addition to technical reasons. The B-52 continues to be used. Also comes from an undeniably important role. Its receipt in defense strategy. Nation of the United States. Nuclear ammo closed. Core role to prevent all attacks. Potential attack from opponents. To ensure the ability to threaten effectively. Maintaining the strategic nuclear triad includes nuclear submarine carrying missiles reaches the direction. The missile achieves continuous 6-tone magnetic launch. Ground and aircraft war bombs. Among them, Viet Nam Stratofortress is one of the important ingredients. Most of the painting branch is not different from the name. Intercontinental fire is inherently impossible. Recovered after being burned away. Again a higher level of control in nuclear fraud strategy. In case of alarm, the radio station can be stored. Wings immediately. Up in the sky a lot. Wait now and wait for the attack command. American leaders have more time to consider. Think before deciding to destroy someone. Defense. If the ranking situation eases, the aircraft can receive orders to return to base. Avoid war scenario. Desire. It is the ability to change decisions. This last decision caused B-52 to return into a versatile fraud tool. Helps reduce the risk of unnecessary conflicts. In addition, the presence of B in strategic patrols also put enormous pressure on the opponent. Ability to carry multiple warheads. Multiply with frequent exports. Present in the international division makes the opponent cannot predict accurately. Next action. America. Finally, one of the reasons is what makes the party maintain its position. I think the operating costs are significantly lower compared to other strategic aircraft. According to estimates, the amount spent per its flight hours are only about half that compared to the B-2 Spirit, a tank aircraft, modern model but most expensive. Gender. While B-2 requires careful maintenance, amphibious with complex stealth subclass and advanced electronic systems, has a simpler design and is easy to maintain, and much less expensive. Thanks to that, become the ideal choice for these tasks. The mission does not require stealth or stealth capabilities, supersonic speed, such as ordinary ring jacking campaign or patrol pull strategy. In addition, initial investment cost of the B-52 has been boasted for a long time, helping reduce the financial burden compared to work. Develop a complete bomber model. New. Manufactured since the 1950s. The B-52 has undergone several rounds of modernization, but the total upgrade cost is still easier, significantly compared to design and manufacturing. A new line of strategic mechanical bombs from head. Instead of dividing tens of billions of dollars among the next generation aircraft program, the US Air Force can continue to exploit flying fortress with high performance yet save budget. For example, school. Combination of B-1B Lancer, which is expected to replaces B-52 state with set. Advanced design with the ability to fly faster. Speed of sound. It seems to have it all. What is needed to become soy sauce? Future of the US strategic bomber force. However, reality has proven that the durability and economic efficiency of B-52 again is the side that wins the race. This Sophisticated aerodynamic structure of B-1B requires meticulous maintenance procedures and takes a lot of time. B-52's simple design can be easy maintenance, guaranteed storage rate, higher. This is especially important for an aircraft and war bomb. Capital strategy always emphasizes readiness. Combat. In addition, another important factor causes the B-1B cannot really replace the B-52. Restrictions on the ability to carry nuclear weapons. Core. After the war ended, the U.S. Air Force has removed the feature. Make it a platform. Deployment of conventional weapons. When the B-52 can still perform the entire mission. Nuclear attack and pine attack. Often, this significantly reduces the war value. Strategy of B-1B in the role of intergranular. This causes this type of aircraft to become rare. More important in the war arsenal. American strategy and flying fortresses are still guys. Stay behind. Together. To Trung again. After more than half a century. Since the first takeoff. Ben is still proud symbol of strength and persistence in the history of aviation. Not just a war machine. Braking. Great flight is also a testament to ability. Constant adaptation and innovation of human. But above all, longevity. The length of the B-52 also reflects foresight and the right investment in a superior design. Time. No matter how many challenges there are, will continue to fly high and demonstrate its role. Irreplaceable in maintenance. The overwhelming power in the sky of no. U.S. Army. Music.